As the Navy celebrates its 250th anniversary, I thought it would be a good idea to chat with someone who knows a lot about the Navy both then and now. And that person is Senior Chief Petty Officer Eric Callahan, who not only serves in the modern fleet, but also brings the past to life as a reenactor of the First Continental Navy. So let's get right to it. Eric, when you compare the ships of today to those first Navy vessels, what stands out most?
The size of the ships and the gross tonnage of the ships and the difference in that. So when we're underway, the length of the ship or the berth of the ship has a lot of factor on how bad the sea state is and how it's translated to you while you're inside the skin of the ship. So just imagine, we're sailing around on vessels that are upwards of 9,300 tons compared to the 1,900 tons of a frigate at that time. So they just get more tossed and turned, and it was probably much more violent on board, not just because of the waves, but just because of the people also. Fights would happen a lot more. And it was not necessarily, like, comparing the two is really, really difficult. But the sea never changes. It gets violent, it gets rough, and I could not imagine being on one of those old square rig ships back then.
So what about engagement? How does the Navy of 1775 compare to the Navy of 2025?
They used a lot more guerrilla tactics than we use. I mean, the Navy of today, we're not really doing, broadside battles with other warships. We're more of a protect the aircraft carrier and then drop Marines and then shoot Tomahawk missiles and take out critical infrastructure or critical targets. We do some, engagements if necessary, but we're also not engaging big vessels. A lot of times we're talking about engaging small crafts with our guns to protect, from small crafts coming alongside and blowing up next to us. So a lot of that is very much similar to what, we're kind of Britain now, where we're defending from those small, fast-moving vehicle or vessels, vice being the ones that are operating them.
That's an interesting thought, because you're right, we have become the other side of that coin. We're the global force on the seas now. So for those who like to think of the old Navy with the sails on the ships and rope and cannon, any of that still going on, hands-on with the work the sailors do now?
We do still, heave lines to do unreps or underway replenishments, where we shoot a line over to a supply ship, and then a team of sailors will heave over a spanning wire, and then we'll heave over a probe to connect to refuel the ship, and we'll do the same to bring stores from supply ship to us. But when it comes to taking up sails and all of that, we don't do that.
So what parts of the old Navy do you still see alive today?
The Navy is still filled with customs and traditions. The Navy is very big on holding those close. They're important to us. From the bosun blowing pipes based on the hour of the day to us ringing bells based on the hour of days, or welcoming the captain aboard the ship. One of the biggest traditions, though, is piping aboard. So what would happen is when we would have an officer or a dignitary come aboard the ship, they would have to sit on what's called the bosun chair, which is just a flat piece of wood with ropes or lines going through a pulley system, and then they'd have strongbacks or side boys haul them up on deck. So the reason, and the number of side boys was based upon their rank, because the higher the rank means they typically had more money, which means they typically would eat more or have better food available to them, so they were bigger based on how their rank, right? So the idea is the side boys would haul them up, and the bosun would pipe him aboard. And now once he's on deck, the side boys would salute, let him come aboard. So there's a direct correlation to this, and we still do this today. So where it's 04 and below, if we're piping them aboard or piping them ashore, they're going to have 2 side boys because they were skinnier. So it took 2 people to haul them up on the deck. And then we go from 05 to 06, we go to 6 side boys because they're getting a little bit bigger. And then 07, 08 is 6 side boys, and then 09 and above, we have 8 side boys. And so it's one of those direct correlations to naval history that is still very, very active today. We do it whenever we have a shipmate leaving the ship. We'll always pipe them ashore, where the crew will line up on the break, and they will go across the general announcing system, or the 1MC, and they will announce our shipmate leaving, and then we'll 3 cheers for our shipmate, or whatever our motto is, and we'll wish them good luck at their next command.
So 250 years later, the ceremonies remain, the sound of the pipes, the ring of the bells, the cheer of shipmates parting ways. With so much other change, the ships, the weapons, the technology, what do you think truly connects the sailors then and now?
Every seagoer has stories of the sea and how it has, taken its skin, or how it's gotten back at you. So that is the biggest similarity. The sea will never change. The sea state, the vast loneliness, walking out on the flight deck in the middle of the night and just silence except for the engines is daunting. It's almost eerie and scary. I mean, because if no one knows and you get washed overboard, you're gone, because there's no finding you. So
thank you to Senior Chief Petty Officer Eric Callahan for joining me today. And really, the words he said earlier on seem to sum things up. While many things in the modern Navy have changed beyond recognition, the ships, the weapons, the world itself, one constant remains. If you wish to touch the spirit of those who served 250 years ago, don't look to the steel or the sails, but to the sea. The sea never changes. She is that same restless force that tossed the continental frigates of 1775, the same vast horizon that cradles the carriers of today. She holds every story, every storm, and every sacrifice, from that first shot fired off Cape Ann to the quiet watches of sailors standing under starlit skies today. Generations have come and gone, but the sea, she keeps their echoes. She remembers their courage, and she carries their legacy. Happy 250th birthday to the United States Navy, born of the sea, tested by time, and still answering that same eternal call.